Hi everyone, I wanted to make a video on wisdom as I have promised in the last video, and just kind of share my thoughts and contemplations around what wisdom means to me. Some people may have a different definition, and that's okay because wisdom has a different flavor for different people. So my flavor is what I want to share today. And as I was like tapping into presence, tapping into my breath, and just noticing it for a while, I asked the question, what is wisdom and how do I describe it to my listeners? So one of the things that came up for me is the analogy of a river. And I think about the river as the water of the river being like the emotions that we have, the emotions that rise and fall, and then the river banks, which to me represent the intellect, guide a little bit of the water or the river so that it doesn't leak out. It has some sort of barrier or direction to go in, and I believe that wisdom is like that. So when we are like connecting to wisdom, we are connecting to both the intellect and the emotions, but in a very integrated state. Now emotions, to me also, this is how I describe it, is energy in motion. Panache Desai shared that one time, and I love that. Way of remembering what emotions are. So each emotion is just a different type of energy that's in our bodies mainly, that thoughts might trigger, but the emotions are in our bodies. So some of them, are very out of control, very intense, very big, that it's very hard not to get swept up by them. So like the river, we could get swept up by that water, and sort of like the emotions could go everywhere if we didn't have the banks of the river, which is the intellect, right? Is a little bit of the thinking mind. We need to introduce the thinking mind to help us to direct some of those emotions, not control them, but direct them, or at least become present with them. So the mindfulness aspect of presence, that is very much the intellect, is bringing in the intention. So the thought is the intention, and this is how we use it. We say, my intention right now is to use these emotions in a very wise way, to learn about myself or what's going on in my body by listening to my emotions and really tuning in to what they're trying to tell me. Because like I've said in another video, emotions are wise when they are not leaking out everywhere, okay? But in order for us to be with those emotions in a way where they're not like overwhelming us, we need to bring in this faculty of the intellect, which is the mindfulness aspect, is the observer as well. Even though the observer is a little different to the intellect is more the thinking mind. So the thinking mind will bring in what my intention is here, which would be tuning into my emotions, tuning into my body, tuning into the energy to see what's happening here, so I can get some information, and not to stay stuck in that information, but to use that information to find wisdom. Okay, so this is the path, this is the way, because otherwise wisdom can feel very inaccessible in a lot of ways. Again, we are so caught up in our thoughts sometimes to the point where we also can't see clearly. So if we're caught up in our thought energy or caught up in the emotional energy and it's very, very intense, we cannot access wisdom. So we need both of them to access wisdom. Now, what is wisdom? Okay, wisdom is an integrated state, basically. It's an integration of the intellect, the emotions, the felt sense, the sensory output. It's an integration of a balanced mind, and when we're in this state, like I've shared in the last video, we feel, our body feels at peace, our mind feels at peace. They are working together, they are connecting together, they are flowing like together, just like the riverbank and the, you know, the water are sort of like working together and flowing together. And this is what the feeling and the sense is. And you can always check into your body, because you can't think about this. You have to feel into this. You have to feel into the balance. You have to feel into the integration. You have to feel into the peace. And once you see those things, you know you're in your wise mind and you can see things a little bit clearly. What will come to you is a very balanced viewpoint on life, on anything that you're going through. That's what will come to you, and it will happen naturally when we create these conditions of presence, so that we can you know, really tune in and access that wisdom that really is there in the background all the time. It's always there. It's always there. So, you know, you want to keep that in mind too. You want to have faith and trust that it is always there. It is just clouded over, right? It is just inaccessible. And so we make this accessible, just, you know, the way that I'm describing. This is how we make wisdom accessible. And I know this can sound very vague, or it can sound sometimes very elusive or abstract. And it is, you know, I can't tell you what your wisdom is. It's very abstract. You have to tune into your wisdom, just like I have to tune into my wisdom. I can create the conditions, excuse me, to help you to access your wisdom, but I can't help you access your wisdom. You have to do that yourself, just like I have to do that myself. And the more that you do that, the more you start to trust that part of you, that wise part of you. And the more you do it, the more you know how to access it. You know what that feels like in your body. So I hope this helps. And again, you know, if you have any questions, please comment on this video, and I'd love to clear up any confusion that you have around this. So thank you.